entire family though, so I guess that's the fun part. I'll have a big dinner with like my aunts, uncles, mom, dad, brother. But then today I will be going to the Grove after this.
Ooh,
And
okay,
I'm with a
very
friend
nice,
to just
very
kind of
nice.
do just some exploring because my friend has never been to the Grove. She's
Okay.
from Oklahoma, and so we're just gonna go explore.
Very
Yeah.
cool. Oh my gosh, the Grove is so fun.
The Grove is super fun. I enjoy it. Yeah. Ooh, okay. Hey guys, welcome to our live at Troy Hall. I'm Kevin. I'm studying civil engineering as a sophomore, originally from Van Nuys, California.
Hi everyone, I'm Ashley. I'm a sophomore studying electrical and computer engineering, and I'm from La Cañada, California.
All right, so we are in Troy Hall right now. It's a little apartment style dorm here off campus, maybe 2-3 minute walk from the USC Village, which you guys might have heard of. This is a shared space by 5 people. It's just one of the rooms. But yeah, you guys can see the layout. 2 beds, you guys are on one of them right now. 2 desks right here. And yeah.
And it's super cool. A lot of the beds are lofted, so they can fit cabinets inside, which is super helpful for like storing clothes or whatever you need to store underneath, and shoes.
Comes with decent desk space too, to be honest. My desk last year was a little small, but I kind of like the size of these desks over here. You have like pull-out sections for you to store your school supplies, your books, and everything. You got shelves too. You can decorate too. You can personalize it, so it's not dead at all. And you can also put up lights and things, which is very cute. Yeah. Let's take you guys through the apartment now. So we'll leave the main rooms, and here is some closet space. Got some closet space here. Decent amount of closet space. Restroom right here. Shared restroom and shared sink. And now we can come out to the living room. Ashley.
Alright, and then when we come out to the living room, there's a ton of space out here. So here we have like more desks for the other room to study, and a nice sofa, and like a little coffee table, and then we also have a dining table for meals. So since it's an apartment, it comes with a stove, oven, a giant refrigerator, which is super convenient because in the village we have a Target and a Trader Joe's. So if you want to get fresh food to make, or even like frozen meals from Trader Joe's, super convenient. So lots of space and sinks and cabinet space to store everything.
Yeah, perfect. Shall we take them to the outdoors? All right, let's go.
Okay, we have one question from the chat. So the first question that we got today is this freshman style? Like, can freshmen live here? Is it a freshman dorm?
I think most freshmen choose to live on campus, but this is totally an option for freshmen to live their first year as well. I personally lived on campus in the Village my first year, but I wouldn't be opposed to living off campus. Most people choose to live off campus beginning their sophomore year even, but definitely by their junior year, you'll probably be living off campus.
And yeah, I will say Webb Tower is also apartment style housing, so that's also a lot of freshmen tend to live there as well, and like you get great views as well, and like also similar to the space where it's like open, kitchen, rooms.
Yeah. So just want to stop by here real quick. So you can see that there are like lots of couches here. Most dorms have these little spaces and areas within the dorm itself that are kind of just here for students to hang out, either do some studying, do some socializing, whatever. So these couches and these spots are very common across every single dorm here at USC. And the laundry room is a little loud, hopefully you guys can hear us, but laundry is also available in every building. It is usually on a pay-by-use basis, and so each load and each load you wash and each load you dry, you gotta pay for it. But it's pretty cheap, and so we can go take a look inside the laundry room real quick. This one has 2 washers and 2 dryers, but the ones in McCarthy I know have several because there's lots of students living there. There's at least 8 to 10 of each inside those over there. But yeah, this is just a little overview about the little lounge areas and laundry room, so you can go ahead down now.
All right. I'm just gonna ask another question from the chat. They're asking, like how long is mandatory campus living? I think I can actually sort of take this one when I'm. So basically, actually, their campus living isn't mandatory. So your freshman year, you don't have to live on campus. Most freshmen do. And so if you want to, you can live off campus. It's just not very typical. And then also you get like guaranteed housing for 2 years. So freshman and sophomore year, you can get guaranteed housing. So you know you got that secured. Okay, we'll ask one more question from the chat before you guys keep going. They are asking, is this considered off campus?
Not really. I'd say it's like technically off campus
Sure.
because it's not on the main campus, but it's super close. It's like 3 minutes from like the Village, which is like also right across campus. So even though technically it's off campus, it really doesn't feel super far.
I would say that, yeah, not even Troy Hall like alone. There's so many off-campus living spaces that are literally 5-minute walks, 2-minute scooter rides from campus. So I wouldn't even call it off-campus, like Ashley said. They don't require any driving normally, and you can literally commute by skateboard, by bike, by walking, and yeah. So I wouldn't really call it off-campus either, but technically it is not on USC premises, but yeah.
Yeah, and also when this dorm tour is still through USC housing. So although the building itself is not physically on campus, like you would apply for it the same way you would apply for any other on-campus housing. So it's still USC housing and everything.
Yeah. Okay. So here we are outside in one of the outdoor lounges, outdoor spaces. Troy Hall has a very nice little pit fire over there, and they have lots of little sun-shaded seats. And this is just a nice place where you can come hang out. I actually had my friends do a little barbecue here last year to celebrate the end of the semester, and we kind of cooked some carne asada, and we made some tacos, and it was a great time. Very comfy hanging out spot, and yeah.
Okay, got another question. Are all the dorms the same setup, and how many people for each dorm?
I will say that definitely depends. I lived in, well, yeah, it also depends on the style of housing.
Right.
So we lived in suite style housing last semester, or last year. So I lived in a triple, so I had a double, so I shared a room with one other person, and someone else lived in a single. But I know more like dorm style housing, like not as like suite style housing. I know that you can like live in like a double,
Right.
and it's like just goes into the hall.
Yeah, there's definitely several different forms of like dorms and apartment style housing themselves. I was in the suite style like Ashley said, but I was in a loft, so I had to go up a few stairs to get up to my bed, and right beneath my bed was my desk, and I had 3 roommates. In McCarthy, I know you could even have up to 7 other suite mates. There's 4-person housing, 2-person housing, triples, and even octuples. But most of the apartment style housing I've heard of are by 4s normally. But yeah, you could choose how many roommates you want, how many suite mates you want, and go by preference. Yeah.
And I will say like each dorm has like a bed for you, and like a desk, and like drawers and cabinets and everything, so you don't have to worry about
No,
like,
you don't
any
have to worry
of that
about the
stuff.
amenities for sure. Yeah.
Okay, next question is, are the dorms co-ed or gender specific?
Everything is co-ed. Your floor mates are going to be guys and girls, and you live though inside your own dorm. Your freshman year, I live with 3 guys, but I've definitely seen off-campus people living with guys and girls, and so you can choose that. I don't think they have any restrictions.
Yeah, you can choose that in your housing application. So like once you like pick your housing assignment, you can like specifically select as well.
Yeah, and then also for communal bathroom, that is typically by gender. So typically the bathrooms are, but like the actual dorms themselves and the floors might not be. All right, next question. Do you want to keep walking? Find a place to sit? Okay. The next question that I got for you guys, hold on, sorry. Will students from different schools live in the same buildings or dorms, or will they be in their college-specific dorms?
Every dorm has people from tons of different majors. So last year I went random for my roommates. So I got a roommate from Jordan's Life, so she's studying law, history, and culture. And then my other roommate was studying civil engineering. So I know people, and also people from like the business school live on my floor.
Right.
Like it's all mixed. Everyone lives wherever.
Yeah, Yeah, one thing I remember when I was applying is that USC advertised non-major specific housing just so that we can learn to mingle with other students from different perspectives, different backgrounds, different academic backgrounds as well, because you kind of learn a lot. I learned a lot from my Marshall roommate, which is the School of Business last year, and my biochemistry suite mate who lived right across from me. Yeah, so they don't normally separate you by major. You're free to live with people of all majors, and I think it's definitely very beneficial.
I will say though that there is like some, like you can also select, because I was talking to someone, I know at Parkside you can select to have like a STEM floor. Like I know there are some like specific like floors, like if you want to join like some sort of specific community.
Right.
They do have that available, but again, it's just an option.
Yeah.
Okay, next question is, does pricing differ from dorm to dorm?
Yeah, so pricing does differ from dorm to dorm. Some dorms, depending on how many people are living there specifically, and mainly I think that's where the price difference kind of begins to range, and the style of dorm you're living in. So if you choose a dorm that has beds like on the normal floor level instead of like a loft, which I had last year, so I was paying less than people living in those sorts of bedrooms with beds still low to the ground. So the apartment style versus suite style does play into there as well. But yeah,
Yeah,
that's about it, right?
Agree,
Yeah.
Okay, next question is, can students get their, oh wait, sorry. No, I read this wrong. How many of the dorms have communal bathrooms?
I would say most dorms on campus have communal
Right.
bathrooms. I will say more of the off-campus housing, like in the Village technically, that one is suite style, so those ones have their own bathrooms, and Web Tower is more apartment style, has their own bathrooms, and these ones are also apartment style, so have their own bathrooms.
Yeah, that's just about 100%. Yeah.
All right, next question, and this is the last one that we have for now, but
Okay.
we'll probably get a couple more
Yeah,
later,
of course.
is can students get their own room, and how?
I think students can get their own room. It's a particular style you have to apply for. For example, I had friends that lived in a quadruple last year, but each of them had their own dorm, their own personal bedroom to themselves, and they shared a common space and a restroom. So you can apply for that, I think, through the housing portal. But yeah, that's just preference. I personally like living with a roommate, but I know there's several people that love living by themselves and that they prefer to do that, and so it's just definitely by preference, and it's definitely a possibility.
I think I'll introduce myself, so I'm not just a random voice like behind the camera. But I'm your host for today. I'm Kaylee. I'm a third-year student studying astronautical engineering, and minoring in photography. I can actually speak about having your own room because I had my own room in McCarthy freshman year.
Oh, awesome.
So I was in a single. So whenever you look at the housing website, you can actually look at all of the different floor plans for all of the buildings. So what that means is that you can click on a type of building. One, you're able to see if if freshmen are allowed to live there, or if it's for second-year students and above. That's one helpful thing, so you know which housing is freshman and which housing isn't. But you can look on that. You can first see who can get in that dorm. Secondly, you can see the layout for all the various types of rooms. So McCarthy has one layout, and McCarthy's a dorm in the Village, and it has one layout where there is 4 individual rooms, 1 person each room, and 2 bathrooms and a little common area. Common area is just literally a couch. That's one suite in McCarthy. There's another suite that's similar where it has 4 people, but there's only 2 bedrooms, so it's 2 doubles and then 2 bathrooms. There's also the lofted doubles, which is it just means that there's a little bit less like square footage in each room. So yeah, you will be paying less, and so your bed and your desk are stacked on top of each other. And then there's also 2 bathrooms for that one. And then additionally, there's the 4 doubles, so there's 8 total people, and 2 bathrooms for that one. So it ranges. There's also the triple, which is interesting because it'll be a double and a single. So yeah, I would definitely check out the USC housing website, and I'll drop that link in the chat in a second. And you can look at all of the different floor plans, which is really, really helpful. The next question that we have is, Could you talk about the Village and what you can do there?
Ooh, okay. So yeah, I feel like the Village, like, I will say at the beginning, I was like kind of like bummed out to be like living in the Village, because I was like, oh, like I'm not living like on campus where I feel like everything is happening.
Right.
But I will say I've grown to like love the Village. Like I love living there. I feel like it's super convenient. They have a ton of restaurants downstairs. So if you're ever like not in the mood to cook, or as freshmen you do get a meal plan, so you do get to go to the dining halls. But they have like a ton of like cool restaurants there. Like a really popular one is like Kava or Dulce. Those ones are super popular. But yeah, I will say it's super convenient, and there's like lots of lawn space as well. So sometimes USC will throw like different events, and you can just like look out your window and see like what's going on. But yeah, I feel like it's super convenient.
Yeah, no, personally, I love living in the Village. I've never had a problem living there. I've always wanted to live there. I'm kind of sad I won't be able to next year, unless I choose to become an RA. But I, like Ashley said, it's really convenient. There's a Target and a Trader Joe's literally right below where I live. And so if I ever need groceries, I can just go down, walk 20 seconds, and I'll be inside the Trader Joe's or a Target. Like Ashley said, also lots of restaurants for you to choose from. I love Kava. Kava is this Mediterranean-style bowl place. You could do shawarma wraps as well. And another thing about living in McCarthy in particular too was you had the dining hall right below you. So you didn't have to worry about needing to walk anywhere too far to get your food. You could just take the elevator down, go out this back door, and you're already at the dining hall. But yeah, living in the Village is definitely convenient. I think there are lots of social opportunities there. They have this fountain surrounded by these chairs and lounges and umbrellas and trees. Just a lot of shady greenery to for you to just sit down, hang out, relax. So just a beautiful spot to just hang out and kind of just soak it all up. But yeah, so definitely the Village is an ideal spot to live, I'd say. But everywhere on campus is a great spot to live too.
And just like one more thing, there's also like a gym there, and like you were
I
saying,
forgot, yep.
yeah, there's a gym, so that's super convenient. But I will say, like all freshman dining halls, like they do have like EVK is like right underneath
True.
like the dining halls, and like Parkside as well. So it's
Right.
like super convenient. Like either way where you're living, you're gonna be really close to a dining
A
hall.
dining hall.
And the Village is just like geographically, it's like right across from USC, so you literally cross the street and you're on main campus.
Yeah.
Okay, the next question is about safety, which is quite popular. It's about sort of the surrounding area around campus and how safe do you feel around campus and like venturing out outside of like the perimeter of campus.
Personally, I've felt very safe around campus. I have never found myself in any sort of dangerous situation, but yeah, I feel safe because we have these guards called Yellow Jackets who are stationed within a 2-mile radius of campus at nearly every single corner of like any intersection, any street, and their job is literally there to keep an eye out for us USC students. And so their role is very significant in the safety of students here at USC, I'd say, and they always make me feel like I'm being seen, I'm being taken care of. And another safe, I guess, amenity that USC provides are our thrifts, or our shrifts, which are free lifts that USC pays for within a 2-mile radius for USC students from 6 p.m. to 2 in the morning. So if you need to get somewhere off campus and you don't feel like walking, one, it's nice because if you're tired, you don't need to walk. But two, if you're scared for any like safety reasons, you can just take a shrift or a thrift to wherever you want to go within a 2-mile radius of USC and take one back at no cost. So.
Yeah, and I believe like after like 10 p.m. they also like have you like check your ID,
Right.
like going on to main campus as well as like in and out of the Village. So like you'll need to like show your student ID, so just to make sure that it's like USC students who are like on these areas.
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay. The next question is about the Village and the restaurants there. The question is, do the restaurants in the Village accept the meal plan? And then about how far is the Village from the nearest dining hall? So we got 2 questions about the Village and food.
So the Village, or the restaurants in the Village don't take the meal plan. They're like private restaurants, so they, like you would just have to like pay with your own money for that. But there is a dining hall in the Village, and like Kevin was saying, it's like right next to McCarthy. So,
yeah. That's basically it. Yeah, you'll need to pay with your own money, cash, card, whatever, at the restaurants in the Village, and then McCarthy Dining Hall is the nearest one, and it's in the Village. But if you want to find like the nearest on main campus dining hall is EVK, which is a 4 to 5 minute walk from campus. So everything is really close by. You'll never need to walk too far to get food, definitely.
Okay. The next question is, again, about meal plans. What meal plans are available for students living on campus? What dining options are there? And then how do they cater to various dietary restrictions?
Okay, so I will say that every freshman, at least for our year, I'm not sure how they might change it for
Right.
next year, but traditionally for the past 2 years, they've had like the meal plan where all freshmen have to get this meal plan. So it comes with like unlimited meal swipes, and you also get 2 campus center swipes. So that's basically like in the main campus they have like different like restaurants. They have, or my favorite place is like C's Marketplace. I always get like their salmon bowl, or C&G juice. I get their acai bowls. Those are like my 2 like go-to favorite things to get.
Yeah, and so another thing about these TCC swipes is you get 2 of them per week. I unfortunately didn't find out that we had access to these until like my 11th week. And so I was like, oh my gosh, I'm missing out on these 2 gourmet meals every week. But no, you asked about dietary restrictions as well. Each dining hall does have like a separate area normally that serves food for people with particular dietary restrictions. So I have friends who are like vegetarians, and they never have an issue finding food that they can eat, and yeah, at any of the dining halls. So.
And I believe like Parkside has like nut free, because like when I go with my friend, like she always like gets desserts there. So I believe that they have like nut free, but also like on the menus online. But there's also like lots of like TV screens inside the dining halls, and they have like little colored dots that kind of like tell you like, oh, like is this allergen? What's inside? So that's also helpful.
Yeah.
Okay, this is this is about like again, food, because you know you have to eat, right? Do you think food prices are inflated on campus?
On campus, I'm usually using like my card on campus, but I mean, there's a Starbucks that's paid on campus, right, with like dining dollars and stuff. I personally don't drink Starbucks like that, so I'm not sure. I don't think that the prices are marked up just because they're on a college campus. I think they're like normally at like a normal price that you buy a cup of coffee at a normal Starbucks. So yeah, I don't think it's anything outrageous.
You just mentioned dining dollars. Can you explain sort of what that is?
Yeah, so besides your meal swipes that come loaded on your card, like Ashley mentioned, last year we were on the Cardinal plan, which was just the general plan that all freshmen were required to buy last year, which was unlimited swipes. You could also load up your card with dining dollars. And so this is just cash or like money on a card that you put onto your USC ID that you can just give to your cashier when you're checking out, and they swipe your card, and it just deducts the amount of money your meal cost. And you can load that up with as much or as little money as you want, and you can reload it. Yeah, that's basically the gist of dining dollars. Pretty convenient.
Alrighty, the next question is about what's your impression of the food at the dining halls? Like, do you think it's good? What do you like about it? What do you not like about it?
Personally, I feel like it's improved a lot this year. Like, I'm using like my meal swipes, and like I love it a lot. I feel like if you're like a big like sweets person, they have like soft serve. So I know, actually my favorite, I love the Village dining hall because they have crepes, and those are like my favorites. So whenever I'm there, I always have to get a crepe, and then they have like really good ice cream too. Like I get crepe ice cream. But like besides sweet, like I promise it's actually not just like desserts. They have like salads, and like they like to switch up the menu, so it's not like you're eating the same thing every day. But like
Sorry guys.
But there are like the main dining halls, so you can always like just check the menu and like see what you're feeling.
Yeah, they do have a pretty good rotation, I'd say, and I was pleasantly surprised with the quality of the food when I first came here last year. I hadn't heard anything, but I just hadn't heard anything, so I was just a little anxious about how the food would turn out. But I ended up eating at the dining hall every single day last year, and I am fine. I survived. I'm here. I was happy. It all tasted great. I don't have much complaints other than maybe sometimes you could predict the cycle and the rotation. So I would know that like, oh, I need to go this day because they're having chicken tenders or something. But yeah, so other than that, I've had a pleasant experience with the dining halls, I'd say.
And there's always like fresh fruit, so like
Oh, yeah.
bananas, oranges, apples. So
Yeah.
Alrighty. Next question is, do they offer transportation to any parts of like the city and like exploring LA? How accessible is that from campus?
So USC itself, I don't think provides shuttles that go like into downtown or anything, but literally right across the street, right across Exposition Boulevard, which is towards like the back end of campus, we have the E line, which can take you all the way down to Santa Monica and all the way into downtown or Union Station. And from Union Station, you can literally go anywhere in SoCal. It's kind of crazy. But yeah, so USC doesn't directly offer transportation, I would say, like into downtown, but you could take just public transportation as well.
and also something that they implemented this year is the U Pass. So so we get like we can apply. It's really easy. You just fill out a form, but you'll fill out a form. You go to like the transportation center, and they'll give you like a Metro card, and it's like unlimited credits, so you can like swipe it and like go on any Metro.
Oh dang!
And
I didn't know that.
and I
Okay.
just went on the Metro today, so I used my U Pass. I like tapped in, and then it was like a 15-minute ride to like downtown LA. I got to explore like Grand Central Market and like the last bookstore, so it's like super convenient to travel around and get around.
Look at that, guys. I just learned that we had the U-Pass. Perfect.
Alrighty. Okay. Where can you cook inside like a suite or like a room? Like, how does cooking work in a dorm? What ones can you cook in, and to what extent?
So
Yeah, no, so last year, I guess we were limited to what we could cook in our dorms because we weren't given a kitchen. The suite style in McCarthy wasn't apartment style like Ilium is right now where we're living. But I guess the extent to which I could cook was restricted to maybe my microwave and making like microwave ramen or something. Just fill up your cup with some water and then put it in the microwave for a few minutes. I wasn't doing any major cooking last year, but this year in the apartment style suites, annoying car alarm. In the apartment style suites, we have an entire kitchen, a massive fridge, stoves, ovens, big sink, everything. So we can let our imaginations run loose in the kitchen. So I've had my friends cook pasta, chicken, they've made cakes even. So yeah, inside our apartment style suites this year, I've been cooking a lot. My roommates have been cooking a lot and everything. Yeah.
And I will say, as a freshman, if whether you're living like in a residential style hall or in suite style, like every room comes with like a little mini fridge and a microwave.
Yeah.
So you'll always like have that option to like store food and like heat up food in the microwave. So that is that option there.
Yeah.
All right, next question is, do all dorms come with air conditioning?
No.
Unfortunately not. I know for a fact the ones in the Village have air conditioning, but some on campus, like New North, I know for sure. I don't want to say anything I don't know, but New North for sure doesn't have air conditioning. And Burncrant. But yeah, so not every dorm comes with air conditioning. I definitely think it's more convenient to live in one that does. I ended up in some of my friends' dorms last year that didn't have air conditioning during the summer. And they had fans set up, but not even the fans would help too much. But yeah, so unfortunately not all of them do, but there are definitely some that also do.
Okay, the next question is, what's the social scene like on-campus housing? Are there organized events or clubs to help students connect with their neighbors?
Okay, so I will say, last year I was a part of community council, which is basically like a student government for your dorm. So I will say there's like lots of opportunities to get involved. So your RAs put on events, so you can get to like know the people in your hall and like get free food, which is always a win. And then as part of community council, we do multiple events throughout the year, like Halloween parties and like different like cultural events, where we have like free food and people could gather and do arts and crafts, music, have a good time. So there's always lots of opportunities to meet people living in the same dorm as you.
Yeah, and also during your first week at SC, every single dorm is going to have these little nights they call Courtyard Connections, where they have little events that they throw. It could be a dinner, it could be like a casino night. We throw a big back-to-school show that we put on with a headliner that usually everybody knows and is familiar with. But the social opportunities within the dorms are perfectly fine. within like the dorm itself and in the lounges and stuff, like I think I always found myself talking to everybody in the hallway. I made friends with people that live down the hall from me, right across from me. So yeah, the social opportunities are definitely abundant inside the USC dorms.
Alrighty. The next question is, what's the best way to get to LAX, so getting to the airport, on any given day? And you can give your answer, and then I can also give a little bit
Sure.
better one too, if you don't have the full answer.
I haven't gone to LAX from USC, but I have a lot of friends that have, and what they normally do is just take an Uber. I think that's usually pretty convenient for them, but I know there are also several other ways to get to LAX from campus, I think.
So I know like during breaks often, like for fall break for example, or spring break or winter break, like any of the breaks, usually USG has shuttles that they provide. So you just have to like sign up for the shuttle, like put your name, how many like luggages you're carrying, and then they'll just like come pick you up, drop you off at LAX. It's all free, paid by the student government, so that's also super helpful for like big breaks.
That's good.
Yeah, perfect.
Next question is, where is your favorite place to study?
Okay. Yeah, sure. So my favorite place to study is honestly just inside the lounges within each dorm. I find that just being able to be there and collaborate with my friends and peers is just like more beneficial to me, and it's just a space where we can be. Sometimes we can be a little rowdy, and then also we can just quiet down. So it's just like a free space where like the atmosphere we can like change, right? And yeah, personally, I do love the lounges to study. That's my favorite place to study.
I will say it depends on I definitely agree. Like I feel like at nighttime, if I like don't want to like go off campus or like leave my dorm, it's super convenient to just like walk outside my like door and then just like go to a lounge and like see people and like also get work done. But I guess it also depends on my mood. I feel like that's the great thing about like USC. Like we have amazing weather like for so many months of the year. So especially right now it's like October, but the sun is like still shining. It's super warm. So I feel like during the day I love to just like sit outside, be in nature a little bit and like do my work. Or we also have really nice libraries, like the philosophy library. It's like smaller, but it's like gorgeous on the inside. So I will say that there's definitely like a lot of study spaces depending like what you're into. We have that.
Yeah.
Alrighty. Next question is, would you say it feels like you're in the city, or is there more of a campus vibe?
I feel like more of a campus vibe.
Yeah,
I feel
I
like
would
we're not really in downtown LA. Like it's super close, super easy
Yeah.
to like take the metro or like any other form of transportation to get like in the city. But I feel like definitely like when I'm here, I feel like I'm just surrounded by like the USC community. I see students walking around all the time.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. Although we are 15 minutes from downtown, it does feel kind of like you're at USC. You are on USC campus, surrounded by USC students. So yeah, I think that most of the time I do feel like I'm just like on campus.
Alrighty. How do you pick your roommate?
Ooh, okay, so I went random. I was like, I want to like meet new people. Like I'm going to a new school.
Yeah.
So I was like, I want to like just go random. So I just like, so it's super cool. So it's like the housing, when you fill out your housing application, you can also like set your preferences, like what time you go to bed, like how like noisy, like do you want guests over? So they'll still like match you to people who are like kind of similar to you. But I was super happy I went random. I met someone who like lives from like the East Coast. So it was like super cool to like meet someone new and like not my major as well. So get a connect with someone who's like not also like just studying engineering, but it worked out super well. Like we're really great roommates, and then my suite mate who I also didn't know, we're also rooming again this year. So
Awesome.
we're all like great friends. We all like live in the same hall, so it's super nice.
Yeah, I think I know one thing. I also went random like Ashley, and I had a perfectly fine experience with my roommate. I love my friend Ethan. But another way that I know people do choose their roommates before coming to USC is like they make like Instagram groups or like Facebook groups, and they find kids who are also admitted for their semester, and they just start talking, and then they choose to kind of add each other on the housing application on the portal. They can choose. They could like write down their name and as well as their roommate's name or their suite mate's name, and they kind of have this like room kind of to themselves, and then other people can add their name to that list. And so sometimes people don't go random. I decided to, and I'm personally still really good friends with my roommate from last year as well. So, yeah.
Okay. The next question is, does USC offer any sports facilities within dorms, like gyms, basketball courts, stuff like that, pools, and things like that? Yeah.
Well, McCarthy is really convenient because like the gym is like right across. Like you literally exit the door, cross like the little path, and then you're there.
Yeah.
I think Parkside has some like treadmills. Like I feel like I've seen
There
some,
are,
like,
yeah.
equipment there, but there is like a main like gym, like Flying Center. So that's super convenient. There's like a pool there, tons of equipment. Yeah.
There are basketball courts right on top of the Lions Center. The Lions Center is, like Ashley said, the main gym on campus. Has just massive, has everything you need. And then if you just want to go do some like recreational sports, you could also go upstairs. I know people play volleyball up there, badminton, and basketball is like the main one. Everybody plays basketball up there. So sometimes you could go play some pickup, sometimes you could go with your friends, and if you're lucky enough to find an empty court, you can just shoot around and stuff. You could also go to the physical education building that has courts open, usually in the evening. I've done that with my friends a few times. Sometimes we're there till like 2, 3 in the morning just playing because the doors were open. But yeah, there's several opportunities for you to engage in like recreational sports on campus, gyms, basketball, soccer, whatever you want. Yeah.
The next question is honestly very broad, but I'm interested to hear your answer. What is the most unique experience you've had here?
Maybe this isn't as unique as it may sound, but for me it was pretty unique because I had never been to a concert. USC's Welcome Back concert, which is that big concert I was talking about earlier, which is something they throw during the first week back when all students are back on campus. They usually, like I said, have a pretty big headliner. This year is Pierre Bourne. He is a producer and a rapper. And so I'd never been to a concert before, but going to Welcome Back was a pretty unique experience for me. Also just being surrounded by like kids my age and like fellow students that I'm literally walking next to like every single day at USC was very fun. I enjoyed my time at that concert, and I'm looking forward to next year's for sure. But yeah.
That's a really good question. I don't know, because I was thinking like unique experiences. I was like small scale. Like I feel like it's like super cool to like just get to meet like the diversity of like students here. I feel like just like in any conversation, I feel like just like that like communication aspect. But okay, if I had to pick like one event, I would definitely say like the Welcome Back week.
Yeah.
I feel like that was like they just had like so many events and activities to get to know people like outside of like because you're new, you're coming to campus,
Right.
and like just to like meet people at like every single event and like have so many events to just meet people, get to know people. Like definitely having that week before school, like even before your classes, where like I also met like so many new friends and classmates. But yeah, I would say it's just that Welcome Back week.
And maybe another thing I'd like to add to from an academic perspective, Viterbi, the School of Engineering, has a career fair that is just specific to Viterbi students, and so they bring on recruiters from several different companies that are purely there to recruit students from Viterbi. And one thing I've heard is that the companies that we bring onto campus for recruitment make some sort of like agreement with USC and Viterbi that they must hire this many amount of kids or offer this many amount of kids an internship or an offer. And if they don't meet that quota, they're not invited back next year as a company at the career fair. And so I think it's a unique experience, like professionally too, that USC offers for students in Viterbi. We have these opportunities that definitely like propel our students forward professionally in their lives, job lives, internships, and everything. So.
Okay, yeah. Actually, to add on to that, like for Viterbi specific, I will say there's a lot of like opportunities for entrepreneurship here as well. Last semester, I did they had like an entrepreneurship challenge where like you like created like some sort of product and like you gotta like market it and like kind of like to win money for like a grant to like further develop your product. So it was like a super unique experience to like use my engineering skills, but also like learn more of like the business side, since that isn't like necessarily like part of like our curriculum, but like also like get to learn how to like market a product. And so I feel like that's also something like I feel like not as many people like know about like for entrepreneurship and like all these opportunities for like grants, and the fact that like USC and like Viterbi specifically as well wants you like creating products as well, and there's definitely a space for that here.
Yeah.
Alrighty, next question is, what are some of the clubs or activities on campus that you enjoy?
One I guess club or like sport that I joined last year was the our USC men's soccer team. It's not the varsity team; it's a club team, and so they had practices twice or three times a week, and I was part of the team for last year in totality, and I had a lot of fun. We had weekend games, and sometimes that means traveling back into the valley where I'm from, or traveling a little bit down south. But that's one, like I guess, recreational club that I joined. I'm also part of several like academic clubs and professional societies as well, like the American Society of Civil Engineers. There we have several design teams which are just basically project-based clubs where you're put in a team, and your entire 2 semesters, you spend kind of making your whatever your product, your model, whatever, and then in the second semester in spring, you end up testing it at some sort of competition. It's usually within the United States. And they switch up the location every year. So, for example, I was part of Steel Bridge, where we make a steel bridge, and Concrete Canoe, where you make a concrete canoe, and you test them at the same competition later in the spring. So those are just a few of the involvements I've had here on campus so far.
So some groups I'm part of is Women in Computing. So that's a super fun group. So it mixes like social but also like professional events. So like I think just like last week or like 2 weeks ago, we went on a boba run to Pot of Chaw, which is like super close to campus. Like you can live there, you can walk there. So yeah, we got like boba there, but we also have like different professional events. So we're doing like academic workshops to like learn different languages, and we also are like starting a series of lead code workshops. So it's super cool to like join this community of women who like can have fun, and like we can like get good food, and like even last night we had like a nice like spooky Halloween movie night with like snacks. So it's super nice to have like this community of girls who you can like bond with and also like learn with.
Next question is, how long does it take you to get to your classes in the morning?
Most of my classes, so I'm living in the Village right now, so I will say most of my classes are like on the Viterbi side of campus, which is like further. So Viterbi side of campus is closest to Parkside. So I feel like for me it takes me like 10, 15 minutes to walk to that side of campus.
Yeah, like Ashley said, as an engineer, although we're not restricted to the Viterbi engineering departments and buildings over there, a lot of your classes will end up being in that sector. And so if you live in the Village, it'll be like a 10 to 12, 15-minute walk. But it's never anything ridiculous. Like I can leave with plenty of time, and even if I leave a little late, I don't have to worry about being late to campus because everything is so compact. So.
Okay. Next question is, do students stick around on weekends?
I think it depends. Like,
yeah, definitely.
It depends on like the student you are. Like I feel like there's like tons of opportunities. So like lead campus, as we were saying, like downtown LA, Santa Monica, even like further, it's like super convenient to get by. But I always feel like there's always like so much going on campus as well. So it's like really up to you, like what you're into.
Yeah, I have several friends that, like they do weekend trips. Like sometimes they end up at like Lake Tahoe, or sometimes they end up in San Diego for the weekend. And also there are like USC sanctioned events, like Peaks and Professors is a club that a lot of students should participate in. I haven't had the opportunity to participate in Peaks and Professors yet, but it's essentially a little club or opportunity to do like a weekend excursion to some sort of national park or some hike. You can like hikes, explore some national parks. I know they've gone to Joshua Tree before. And you go with a professor and a group of students, and you just spend the weekend there exploring, and then you come back and make it in time for school the next day on Monday. So, yeah.
Alrighty. The next question is, I lost it. I just had it. Hold on. It's about mail. Is there a package or mail delivery system for students living on campus, and how does it work?
So, something we forgot to mention when we were talking about the Village is like there's an Amazon place there,
locker.
So you can just like order your stuff, pick it up. Also, it's super easy to return stuff at like the Amazon place. So if you're ever ordering from Amazon, that's right there. But there's also FedEx in the Village, so you can get your mail sent there, and like they'll send you like a text message, just like, hey, you have like something to pick up, or like email as well. So that's been super easy for me.
Yeah, I think you can order packages and then also get your normal mail delivered to the FedEx, where you can just go pick it up. They do alert you, which is nice. So you don't need to be on top of it, like keep it in the back of your mind, just get a reminder. And the Amazon lockers are very convenient. They get it sent to the Amazon locker USC, they put it in one of the lockers, and then you go scan a little QR code or input a code that they sent you to your email, and then your locker opens, and then you just take your package and leave. So, very convenient.
Alrighty, the next question, are the dorm rules strict?
I would say that you have a talk with your RA at the very beginning of the semester, and they kind of just outline what to do, what not to do. It's usually very obvious what to do, what not to do. And you make a roommate agreement with your roommates and your suite mates, basically kind of outlining what you guys are okay with as a dorm, like what time you guys would prefer to have lights out or what time is quiet hours. And then there are also general quiet hours for the building itself and the halls itself. But it's nothing ridiculous. There are just, general rules that you should follow, just decency.
And if anything ever does come up, like I found my RAs to be super approachable, and like they even host like Trojan talks where you can just like talk to them and get to know them. So if anything like does come up, if you're worried about something, or RAs are super easy to talk to.
The next question is how are your professors and what is the faculty like at USC?
Okay, I love my like professors and faculty that I've had here. I feel like my professors have been super like approachable, and they like definitely want to, or at least like some of them have like definitely like reached out and like want to like get to know us as like, or no, actually no, all the professors have been like super like open to like getting to know us, and like they host like office hours throughout the week, so like if you ever like need support with anything. And something we also have here are like TAs, who I found to be like super helpful as well. Like professors host office hours, TAs also host office hours, so there's lots of room for like support and getting to know the faculty working here.
Yeah, professors and faculty here are super approachable, very kind and accommodating. If anything ever comes up, you can just shoot them an email, and most of the time they'll be very kind about it and offer you some sort of leeway. And so also with getting to know professors, like Ashley said, there are so many opportunities outside of the classroom for you to engage in conversation or just interact with your professors. I have had the opportunity to conduct some research with some professors, and so you see that's not necessarily a classroom perspective or a classroom, experience with the professor. I'm in the lab working with them almost like as if they are my peer. So they're not only a mentor, but I'm working side by side with them, bouncing off their ideas of what to do for this experiment, what to do for that experiment, how am I going to set this up. So the opportunities for you to interact and like develop professional relationships with your professors and your peers are definitely available here at USC.
All right, the next question is, how would you describe the viterbi culture?
Honestly, I found it to be really collaborative. Like I found like it's super easy to like meet people in my classes, and like we work on like lots of like lab, like specifically for like electrical engineering, we have like lots of lab projects, and like especially this year we have like a lot of like partner lab projects. So it's been super easy to like find people, collaborate with, study with, do homework with. Yeah, I found it to be a really collaborative culture here.
Yeah, no, literally the number of group chats I have with civil engineers, whether it's to do homework or to review for a midterm or anything, is unreal. Viterbi is absolutely a collaborative environment, from the classroom to all the extracurricular opportunities we have, like the design teams I was talking about. It's purely about being in a team, working together and collaborating. Right off the bat, when you're a freshman, you take a class that's mandatory for all Viterbi engineers. It's Engineering 102, and the gist of my class last year was the entire semester I'm with a group of my students, and we have to basically engineer a solution to one of the National Society of Engineering grand challenges. And so we just had to come up with a solution. It was very project based, and every week we'd meet for 2 hours in the classroom, and then throughout the week we'd obviously meet outside. And so yeah, collaboration is a core value of Viterbi that I think Viterbi does a perfect job of exemplifying through their teaching style and the opportunities they offer. So
Alrighty. The next question is, for clubs, is there an application process?
none of the clubs I've become a part of have application processes. I just go and I can say like, oh, I'd love to get involved with this, and they're like, okay, perfect, you're on that team now. But I know there are several clubs within like the Marshall School of Business, and also even within Viterbi, like some CS clubs like Case Plus Plus, which is, I want to say computer science, almost like research club, that there is like a competitive application process. So you have to submit maybe some essays, maybe you got to link your GitHub, which is I think for CS majors like their website where they can outline their work. And then there's also like interviews even. So it varies.
Yeah, I do agree. Like for like CS clubs, like you might like need to do like a coding challenge sometimes, or like interviews. So they definitely have that. But there's also like more like social clubs, like Women in Computing, Society of Women Engineers, where you can more like develop like your professional skills and like have that community there. Those ones like don't really require an application. You can just join.
Yeah.
Alrighty. Next question is, do USC students generally get some free time to spend like outside of like dorms and stuff like that? It's sort of weirdly worded, so I'm trying. It says specifically, do USC students generally get some free time to spend their time off dorms?
Okay.
But I'm assuming that means like
Outside of the dorm.
yeah.
Yeah, no, absolutely. You don't need to restrict yourself to being inside your dorm all the time. I found myself leaving my dorm quite frequently last year just to either go meet friends like on campus or go study places on campus too. But the opportunity is really all yours. You get to choose whatever you want to do with your time, and I found that kind of very liberating last year, as opposed from high school where you're kind of set on a strict schedule and you go back home after school every day. Here your home is, you leave USC to go back to USC to go relax at home, right? And so you have a lot of opportunity and freedom in what you do with your time. And so, yeah, choose whatever you want to do with it. But yeah.
No, I definitely agree. I feel like that's something about going to college is like you're picking your classes, so that kind of like determines like your schedule of like when you should go to class. But besides that, it's like kind of like up to you, like if you want to go to office hours, if you want to work on homework, if you want to go out. It's really up to you. It's like a free schedule as a college student.
Yeah.
Alrighty, the next question is, what is your favorite part about being a student at USC Viterbi?
I think definitely my favorite part is this professional development that we have access to. Just like all the clubs, like I'm part of the Society of Hispanic Professional Engineers, or SHIP, and they bring in companies every week that come and have talks with us and begin to network with us. We also have nights where they do like resume review, so these upperclassmen will basically take a hold of our resume and then they'll give us positive feedback of what we can improve on or maybe what we should take out. And so just so many opportunities that you have with these clubs to develop yourself as an engineer and professionally set you up for your future, I think is my favorite part of USC, or Viterbi at least.
Yeah, I will say like the number of like resources here, like whether it be like trying to like, if you're like, it really like caters to like what you're like interested in, like getting involved with research. Like I feel like that's been like a nice process. Like they have like Curve, like Center for Undergraduate Research for Viterbi Engineering. So they have like a specific program specifically for like first and second years who like are interested in research. Then like they have that opportunity where like professors like list out like kind of like the projects they're working on, and you can apply to join them. And they specifically like want like newer people who like haven't done research before to like get involved with that process. So I feel like just like so many opportunities like that where they really like cater to like what you're interested in, and we have the resources here to support you because we want to like support you as a budding engineer.
Yeah.
Alrighty, we're just about to wrap up, so I'm gonna ask you the last big question that we always ask at the end of these things, and that's why USC, sort of on the same topic as the previous question, but why USC?
Yeah, I mean, from the second I went to my Explore SC event back in the fall when I was touring colleges still, I just, fell in love with the type of people I met during my time on that tour. I remember meeting past VSAs, particularly Christopher Meany, he graduated a few years ago, but just the type of people here just seem to be so uplifting, and they have proven to be so uplifting. All my peers are only looking out for me and there to support me if I ever need homework help or exam help or anything. The collaborative environment, as we had touched on earlier, is absolutely my favorite part of Viterbi, and I think is a main reason why I chose Viterbi. I noticed that from the second I set foot on campus, and from the second I started hearing stories about the BSAs and what their experience at USC was. So the environment and the student collaboration is definitely a driving factor in why I chose USC.
Yeah, I would definitely echo that. Like, I think that was like the thing that like really drew me in was like the people. But I'd also say just like the countless number of resources that you have here, whether it be like tutoring or like things to like expand beyond engineering, but also like engineering plus like we like to talk about. Like, I have so many opportunities. Like, I'm taking like a business econ class right now, like in Marshall, which is crazy. Like, I'm not a business student, but I still like I'll have opportunities. And I know friends who are taking like dance classes. So there's just so many opportunities to explore like beyond engineering, and they really have that here. So I think that's what I really appreciate.
Yeah.
Do you have any last words before we wrap up and it hops to me and I drop a little bit more information?
Not much. I hope you guys received all the information you wanted. Feel free to ask Kaylee any other question. And Kaylee will, obviously expand a little bit, give you some more information on that. But I really hope to see all of you guys applying and on campus, either touring or as students in the future. And thanks for tuning in.
Yeah, of course. And best of luck with your applications.
Yeah.
Alrighty. It's my turn to hop over here and give you guys some information. Okay, so as a quick reminder, the early application deadline is November 1st. If you're super interested in attending USC, please consider applying early action. You'll be considered for merit scholarships and be notified of your acceptance status sooner rather than later. Lastly, connect with Viterbi students. We would love for you to follow us on our social media accounts. We have an Instagram, a Twitter, and a newly-ish made TikTok account. We also have podcasts and videos on YouTube. So if you want to learn more about what it's like to be a student here, what our experiences are as engineers and just students in USC in general, please check out all of our social media. I'll make sure to include all of the links for that in the description of this video after this gets uploaded. So yes, check out our Instagram, our Twitter, our TikTok, listen to our podcast, and go through more of the YouTube videos because I think you'll find a lot of those resources really helpful. And then I already said this in the chat, but if you have any more questions or you're watching this at a later date, not live with us, and we didn't get your question answered, feel free to email us at bstudent@usc.edu. One of us will answer your email or give you resources that can be used to answer that question. So feel free to email us. Thank you so much again for tuning in with us from wherever you are this afternoon. Good luck on college applications. Stay safe, and as always,
Fight
fight
on.
on. Thank you guys.